Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another stream. Bambino Games here. Bambino Games live on Twitch. Bambino Games on YouTube. Thanks for checking out the stream, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I already have it started up because I don't know. I got to figure out. I got to learn how to go cold and dark with this plane. There's a lot. I know there's probably a lot to it. I tried it before, but I've done it before, but I haven't flown this plane in a while, and I've been, messing around with different planes. So I took the easy road out. So you can ridicule me all you want, dude. But I'm just kidding. It's fine. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys. Got a nice stream planned today. Trying to make up some money in FSEconomy to pay for this SR20 that I'm having shipped to Hawaii. It's costing me $28,000 to ship this thing to Hawaii. It's in California right now in the process of being crated, which takes 2 days for some reason. In FSEconomy, you have to wait 2 days for your plane to be crated. In any event, and hopefully tomorrow it'll start its flight. It'll be flown out to Hawaii. Get there for the weekend, hopefully. So, but yeah, it's like 8,000 to crate it up, and 22,000 to it's 30 grand. 22,000 is the cost I'm paying to have it shipped out there. Guys shipping it out in the Challenger, so. Oh well, I mean, I could learn how to fly a Challenger myself and buy one, but I'd rather just do it that way and get my plane out to Hawaii. So in any event, I'm going to be doing did a couple of runs today in the B1900D, and I'm going to be doing another one tonight. This is one I've done quite often, actually. It's a cool little route from Cape May to Morgantown, West Virginia, and the round trip is like 20K. Pretty long flight, but we're going to do it tonight, and hopefully we'll make it safe. But anyway, let's get right to it, guys. I do appreciate you joining, and yeah, so let's get to it. So let me just see here. First, let me show you my flight plan. Before I do that, though, make sure, if you're on Facebook, you check out VR Aviators Group and join up. All right? We've got 240 members, more members joining every day. It's for people that are interested in virtual reality flight simulation, Vive, Rift, P3D, Plane11, FSX, Aerofly, whatever, DCS. All sims and all headsets are welcome. But check it out on Facebook. Just search VR Aviators Group, and you have to answer 3 simple questions just so I know that you're not a bot and you're not going to try to hack everybody in the group. Trying to keep a good tight leash on who gets in there just so we don't have any BS going on. Anyway, yeah, check it out, and it's a great group. There's some really great discussion. People have questions, comments, and stuff, so make sure you check that out. That's VR Aviators Group. All right, so here's our route. We're going from Cape May. Actually, it's Wildwood, but it's Cape May. And then 294 miles to the John B turn, and then we're going to end up at Morgantown in West Virginia. I've flown this a couple times. It's a scenic route now. I've got Ortho all in this area now. I did a lot of Ortho over the last couple of days. I have 181 tiles. Zoom level 17, and around airports it's zoom level 18 within 5 kilometers of the airport. So I'm hoping I've never flown out here since I've done it. I did these meshes today and prepped for tonight. So I'm hoping that it looks cool. Anyway, in FSEconomy, I've got this guy all geared up and ready to go. 270 gallons, which should be plenty of fuel. I'm going to top it off a little bit though. We're carrying, let's see, what do we got? Let me do this. Yeah, so out there we got, oh shit. Yeah, this is our flight out there. So we've got 13 passengers out there. Okay, so not a full flight, but we have a full flight coming back. Total is going to be 20 grand. My guess is we'll probably make about 17 somewhere around there, hopefully. And yeah, I'm just going to top this off with go to 320, go to 350. Why not? We can always get gas out there if we need it, but we'll definitely, you know, it's a 251 mile trip. I said 294, it's 251. So we're gonna need that juice to get out there. And that's it. So hopefully we'll make about, like I said, 17 grand. I've got, oh, I sold my my King Air C90. Actually, John Fly was a highly rated streamer on Twitch. He bought it from me, which is great, and got 800 grand for that. Saving up to buy a B1900D. Once I get my get enough points, it's going to be about $1.2 million around there, or $1.2 million, something like that. And yeah, so that should be fun to do. All right, yeah. So I was surprised to see that John Fly bought it. It's kind of funny. All right. Yeah, appreciate everybody joining. Let's get in the plane. Okay, so now unfortunately the moving map's not working in Flight Plan Go, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So what you want to always make sure, I know in this plane, let me get this off, is you want to, when you first start it up, it's on aux, so you want to make sure you go to the main tanks. Now I had a problem with this. The left engine burning more fuel than the right engine a couple times. The last time I flew this plane, it didn't happen, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But let me just get myself centered here. And we are in VR with Oculus Rift using FlyInside. Frame rates are sometimes a little bit dodgy with this plane because it's a Carenado plane. A lot of stuff going on. But once we get up in the air and into the Ortho, we should be pretty good. And yeah, so I'm going to load up FSEconomy. Let's see. Oh, you ordered the B1900D. Yeah, you're not going to be disappointed. It's a great plane for FSEconomy. It's a great plane for FSEconomy. 19 passengers. As long as you can find places that have enough passengers, which you should be able to do, you can make some nice coin with this plane. And it's fun to fly. I have to spend some time mastering. There we go, 350 gallons. You guys can't see that. But let me just do this. Let me turn my X-Plane on so now you can see it. Because you're looking at the Oculus mirror image when I can turn on so you can see. This is actually, what you see now is the X-Plane image. So got to go in here. We get our flight plan. I already have my flight plan set up just to make things easier so I don't have to. That's not it. That's the whole one. Go to menu, delete flight plan. Flight plan, we scroll there, get the cursor, and then we scroll down to this guy here, enter. There's our flight plan. We're going to John B and then Morganville. All right, pretty simple. But get this to CDI, so our autopilot follows the GPS track. Love this 530, handy little GPS. Just want to make sure. Let's see. You fly the CJ200, okay, in FSEconomy, 98,000, and wow, in 5 flights. That's pretty good, man. Well, you can do that kind of money. Well, I'm not sure if you can do that kind of money in this flight. I guess you can. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. Thanks for joining the group. I'm gonna make sure the chat's showing up here. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Just double checking that, make sure it's showing up on the stream. All right, so got everything pretty much set to go. Let me just check my tanks here. Okay, pretty nicely. Pretty good system. Okay, we're in pretty good shape here. Plane is all warmed up, ready to go. All right, here we go. East Coast flying. This airport has no markings, which sucks. I was going to take care of that before we started, but I just ran out of time. So Looks pretty damn cool in VR, man. This plane likes to roll quick, I'll tell you that. Well, the frame rates seem pretty good. Alrighty. We're not on pilot edge, so we're just going right to gonna roll on out of here. Now when you fly this plane, you can't go throttle all the way up or you will smoke the engines. You gotta watch your torque gauge. Taking off runway 28. And there we are, ready to go, baby. Dry rental for the CRJ is $17,000. Yeah, well, this rental is like about $900, so how's my landing in this plane? I mean, I've flown this plane a lot. Last night I had a pretty bad landing because I just hadn't landed in a while. The second one was okay. But I tried a few times today and getting better and better. But I spent like a week where I flew this plane exclusively, and I kind of had it down. And then I went back to the smaller GA planes, and you kind of lose your touch at the higher speed landings because you're used to now landing at like 70 knots versus like 100 knots, you know. So, but we'll get better and better. Hopefully we'll be okay. We're going to fly about 5,000 feet. That should be good. Give us some nice views of the Ortho, and here we go. We're watching that torque. We'll go up to 35. That should give us a nice juice right there. And we're good to go. Oh, doing the fly inside dance. There we go. And release the brakes. Oh, I need flaps. One notch of flaps there, and we are good to go right here. Here we go. Plane's gonna be a little heavy, but we're up. There we go. Gear up. Flaps up. Autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
Pick up our GPS and we'll start to climb at 500 feet per minute. Over Cape May, which is a beautiful place actually. Yeah, so hopefully my landing will be better. I mean, it is kind of, I'll give you one thing. I think Carenado did a pretty good job with the modeling this. Listen, I'm not a real pilot, but it feels heavy. It feels heavy when you're landing this thing, especially when you got 19 people on board and fuel. It definitely feels heavy. All right, so we're going to take her up to 5,000. And that probably can go up faster than 500. Let's just knock that up a little bit. Go 600. Pick you up a Wawa hoagie and a coffee. Yeah, I trim it on the approach. I have nose up on the approach, so I trim it up a little bit. I find that makes it a little bit easier. But again, I need to spend some time with this plane and really work on, you know, proper aviation with it, especially the systems. I want to be able to start at cold and dark. So I'm going to spend a couple hours this weekend figuring this plane out, so I can, you know, really do it the right way. I don't like starting it up, you know, with X-Plane. I'd rather start at cold and dark, so I've got to work on that. But I tell you, it looks cool in VR. It really does. I mean, all the knobs and switches just pop right out at you. The space in the cabin, plenty of space in the cabin. It's pretty cool. You can actually get up and walk around and walk in the back if you wanted to. I've done that. Like, I stood up and just walked back. In fact, I might do that once we get flying here. Hopefully it won't mess things up once we get up to altitude. Now, the one thing I found that is a problem, and is that especially on longer flights at FSEconomy, sometimes I like to speed up time in X-Plane just to, you know, make things go a little faster. It's the Control T command, which always worked. Now, but with release candidate 3, which is what I'm using now of 11.10, it's not working. And I filed a bug complaint, not a bug complaint, I filed a bug with Laminar, and they said it's working fine. I tried it with 2D and it's working fine. It's only in when you have FlyInside running when it's not working. So I posted something on the FlyInside board, and hopefully Tony over there will take a look at that. Seems to be some issue where that function's not working when you're running FlyInside. And that's a nice function to have, especially in FSEconomy if you're flying like a 300-mile route and you don't have the time to finish it. You can speed up time. I mean, I know a lot of people frown on that, but you know, sometimes it's easier to do it that way. All right, we're at 2700. You'll start to see the real nice effects of the Ortho when we get up to altitude here. Just want to keep an eye on those tanks. And you got to make sure you always switch it to the main tanks instead of the auxiliary, because it is the default is the auxiliary, which I don't think it should be that way. I think when you're in the plane and the plane loads up, the default should be main, right? And I found that out the hard way. Like when I first got this plane, I was flying some long routes in FSEconomy with it, and I noticed when I filled it up with gas, and I didn't, you know, I'm a novice when it comes to, you know, plane systems. I'm like, why aren't the tanks going up? And it took me a while to figure. In fact, I ran out of gas one time because it was on the aux, and I didn't realize it was on the aux tanks. Look at that shimmering water. That looks awesome, man. That looks real. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm running a little later here, where it's 3:20 in the afternoon. So by the time we get there, it'll be 4:20, and by the time we get back, it'll be just the sun will starting to come down, which should be nice. We're gonna do a round trip. That must be the sun right there. Check our frame rates, 18, 19, hovering around real time. When I flew this before, I was getting much higher. I was getting 22. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but check out that Ortho, man. That looks awesome. Crossing into Pennsylvania. But since we got plenty of juice, I'm gonna run it pretty fast here. I mean, I probably could climb faster than 600, but We got, oh, that looks awesome. Yeah, you don't get that kind of scenery in standard X-Plane, that's for sure. Definitely a lot of eye candy. Let's check out the outside here. Now that's zoom level 18 right there. And you guys are really seeing it in 720p because the Oculus mirror image that you guys are seeing is only set like around 720p, so a little bit higher. But it looks pretty damn cool, man. Got the United Express livery going. Baseball field. That's a nice baseball complex down there. I'm so glad I did the ortho. Especially when you get way up here. It looks so good. There's 5,000. Let's go to the altimeter. Just put on altitude. Let me just set myself up for the descent here. All right. Yeah, maybe that is the problem, that when you don't load cold and dark, that it's on the aux tank. But I think I've tried it cold and dark, and it's always on aux, if I remember correctly. I'll find out, but it should be, the default should be main, if you ask me. So I'll just check. I'll check that when I load, when I work on cold and dark. I'm gonna get the manual out, do it to figure out the right way to do it, and do it right. It can't be that complicated. I mean, you know, you've got your battery and stuff up there, all your electricals up there, that's all your lighting. That's pretty simple. There is some electrical down there, all your power's there, your heat is over here, all your heat and stuff. So I mean, it's not too complicated, it's got to figure out the right way to do it. I know how to start the engines. That's a good thing. All right, we can actually... What do we got here? We're 252 ground speed. That's a nice clip. Fly casual, yeah, fly casual. I like flying casual. Oh, you know what I did? I never took off the X-Plane image. Sorry, guys. I don't know why. Why is the Oculus Rift? Oh, there it is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you guys were looking at. Oh, you guys were looking at the X-Plane image. This is the Oculus mirror image. Sorry about that. I forgot to switch things over. So now this is the Oculus mirror image that you see right here. Much better, full screen. Sorry about that. You had a little bit of black on the other side there. My bad. While you're waiting for the SR-20 to make it to Hawaii, next time you could fly for fun, not FSE, you should try out the Panthera. Yeah, I don't own the Panthera. I'd like to check that out. Not really in the market to buy a new plane, but it's one that's on my list. It's definitely one that's on my list, but I'm actually going to be getting a new plane from a sponsor that is going to be pretty cool. I can't really give a lot away about it right now. It's going to be part of. I'm coming up to 10,000 subscribers in my my YouTube channel. So this plane is going to be a giveaway as part of that. And yeah, mystery. It's a GA plane. It's a twin engine plane, not a turbo. It's a twin engine plane, but it's got a G1000 in it, the Laminar G1000. And this is going to be their first plane with the G1000, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm hopefully going to get one of the first ones, do a special stream with it. I might give a one away on the stream if I can arrange that, but I'll definitely be giving one away for the 10K thing, which will probably be sometime in January, I'm thinking. Maybe sooner if I get more subscribers on YouTube. But yeah, that's one of the things. We're also going to be giving away we're going to be giving an XP Realistic copy of that, and I'm working on a couple other things, so it'll be a cool giveaway. But the plane, I'm really excited about it because it's one of my favorite planes to fly. It's not the SR20 that already has a G1000 in it, but it's good, and it's also, this is a twin. But I'm looking forward to it because it's something I could fly like in Alaska and those kind of areas, and yeah, so it'd be pretty cool to have the Laminar G1000 in it. So that's kind of it's kind of a mystery. Looking forward to that. But yeah, so that's the giveaway. Like I said, it's going to be 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and I'm hoping like to have 2 or maybe even 3 things to give away, which would be kind of cool. So that would be more than one winner, one person, which would be good. So yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, it would be good. And this plane, you're going to like this plane. If you like GA planes, you're going to like this plane. It's fun to fly. It's one of my favorites. They're working on the flight modeling. They're working on the flight modeling, but it's going to be fun with the G1000 in it. And I do like Laminar's G1000. I've been flying the Cessna. It's a lot of fun to fly, and it functions really well. What I really like most about, well, not most, but one of the things I really like about it is that it's got airport diagrams on the MFD. So if you're doing patterns, you can easily zoom in and see the airport. So you know, not only by using your heading bug, but you can see on the MFD where you are in relationship to the runway. So so if you're entering a pattern, it just makes things a lot easier. You know, I think they did a nice job, and I think they're going to really improve it. You know, as they go along, I know that they'll probably improve it, and I think you're going to see more and more planes coming out with that, using that GPS. I'm hoping that the Carenado SR22, which is really an X-Plane 10 plane, it runs like a dog in Plane11. I'm hoping that when if and when they revamp that for Plane11, they put the Laminar G1000, because the G1000 from Carenado is just pretty horrendous. So I'm hoping that they do that. We shall see. All right, everything looks like we're burning equal amount of fuel, so maybe it was just a glitch that I had before with the left tank burning more. I was trying to figure out how to transfer fuel from one tank to the other. I'm not sure if you can do it this plane. Oh, look at that. Check out the scenery there. Pennsylvania farmland. This must be the Delaware. No, it can't be the Delaware. What the hell would that be? Let's see. Probably right here. Not sure. Oh, this is Chesapeake. It's the Upper Chesapeake. That's the Upper Chesapeake right there. It looks so cool. Yeah, so Donovan, I appreciate you joining. Thanks, man. I know you're not a Twitch fan. I saw your comment on the Aviators group. But yeah, glad you joined. Oh, so here's something that I did. Let me show you this, guys. So if you don't know, maybe you saw a couple of my posts. I did a livery this week of the Flight Air Cirrus 120. It's our SR20. I did a New York Yankees livery. I'm a Yankees fan, and I don't know, I always wanted to do a Yankees livery. And what's nice about the SR20, it's got a nice paint kit with the PSD files, the Photoshop files, so it's a little easier to do. You see right here, this is all the years that the Yankees won the championship. Don't boo if you're not a Yankee fan, all right? And these are all the numbers of really my favorite players: Mariano Rivera, Babe Ruth, Thurman Munson, Derek Jeter, Don Mattingly, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Lou Gehrig, and Andy Pettitte. And this the tail number, November 161, November Yankee 161, does have a Yankee significance. So anyway, got 29 downloads so far, so I thought that was kind of fun to do. I've got another one planned that I'm going to be working on. It's going to be music related. Can't find any news about native VR and Plane11. The last that we heard was there was a talk that they did. A talk that they did in Europe. I think around September. Squawking 120 or 1200. You're a Yankees fan. There you go. Well, if you have a V-Flight Air SR20, you can download that livery. They had a hell of a year. Anyway, so back to native VR. The last word I heard, or we all heard, was that they plan to release it around Christmas, the beta, 11.20, which will be the beta release of native VR. Hopefully it'll be around Christmas. Hopefully it'll be before the end of the year. You never know. It's software. Those of us who work in software understand that software is a strange and wonderful beast that sometimes, I should say, most of the time, things take longer than you think they're going to take in software development. It's just like the nature of things, you know. Used to be, they'd say, estimate how long you think it's going to take and double it. Because that's how long it's really going to take. So, anyway. Donovan, I think you're a software guy. I think you'll probably relate to that. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be by the end of the year. They said Christmas. Look at that right there. Wow. That bridge. You know what I want to see? What looks like the Delaware Memorial, although it won't be 3D because it's, you know, this Ortho looks. Let me try to describe this to you. So in VR, when you're close to the ground, Ortho looks like 2D. It looks flat. But as you start to get up around 2,000, 3,000 feet, it starts to take on some dimension. Even though it's flat, it tricks your eye because it's a little bit blurry or whatever. It starts to take on some dimension, and you know, like you feel like you're, you know, if you've ever, obviously everyone watches has probably flown in a commercial airline before. You start to feel like that sense, you know, which is pretty damn cool. Now this is a pretty long flight. That's why I used to like to turn up the time by 2 and get there a little quicker, but can't do that right now because it's not working. Yeah, well, Vulcan won't be part of Vulkan won't be part of 11.20. That's Vulkan, they said, is next year, 2018. They didn't say when, sometime in 2018. Vulkan's a major rewrite. I would think that Vulkan is X-Plane 12. That's what I think. Because you're completely changing out your graphics platform, right? When they get to Vulkan, though, it's going to be great days for those that have powerful GPUs, because now you won't have your, a single thread bottlenecking your GPU. You'll be able to have all your CPUs communicating with your GPU, which should speed up frame rates considerably. I think that's what they're kind of banking on. But yeah, I don't, Vulkan's not going to be part of 11.20, that's for sure. They're going to use they're trying to get it up to 45 frames per second and use AWS. Let's hope that works. I mean, that's kind of what FlyInside does, I guess. They're taking what we're seeing here is, let's see where we're at. We're at we're 15, 16 frames per second, which sucks. And they're reprojecting that so you don't get sick, right? Laminar's taking a different approach. They said they're shooting for 45 and they want to double it in reprojection. So as long as they get to 90 and people aren't puking, it's happy with me. I'm happy. As long as it is a smooth ride, I'm happy. You can't be. I know that I do some videos with performance testing just because people like to watch that stuff. I've come to the conclusion, and I used to be a frame watcher, but I've come to the conclusion that watching frames in X-Plane, it's just a futile exercise, because the thing that's important is if you're enjoying the flight, if you're enjoying the experience. Right now I'm looking out the window, things are moving pretty nicely, everything looks really cool, it looks like a real airplane. Who cares what the frames are? Really. As long as you have enough frame rate so that you can do it in VR, I'm happy. Let's put it that way. So I think there's a couple of guys in here that are streamers. I know Squawking 1200, he's a streamer. You might want to check him out. He squawks. He streams GA stuff, and let me see who else is in here. Let's see here. Ache12, he's a streamer as well. I might want to check him out. He does a lot of Bitcoin streaming, actually, but he's a flight sim guy, a VR flight sim guy. I might want to check him out. And yeah, let's see. Russo, you said you build PCs and tried the Plane11 on an i9 7900 and had the worst performance. Really? Why is that, I wonder? I wonder why that is. Yeah, stuff. Actually, yeah, it's GA, and I think people are interested in watching general aviation because, listen, I like watching the big jets too. Clock speed is still better than many cores for any flight sim. Yes, right now you're absolutely right. You're right. The current generation of flight sims, you're right. But as they move to Vulkan, that's going to be different because now you've got better communications between the CPU and GPU. Okay, you still want to have. Listen, you still want to have. You still want to have high clock speed. Listen, there's nothing wrong with having high clock speeds, but once you can take, listen, if you have like a 1080 Ti, you basically have a computer within your computer, right? So you want to make sure. Yes. You want to make sure that clock speed is important, but You know, like I said, as you move to Vulkan, you're going to have a better pathway between your CPU and GPU. So I have this i7-7700K and a 5.1. Yeah, well, I'm actually, yeah, that's interesting because I've talked about this before. I have a 6700, but the motherboard I have, which is a Z170 board, Gigabyte, everything's, as long as I have the correct BIOS on it, it'll support a 7700. Okay, I'm getting that chip, and I'm gonna, because I can basically buy that chip and sell my chip for like 200, and it's for $100 I upgrade to, you know, something that's like you said, you've got it overclocked at 5.1. I'd be happy at 4.5, you know, because I have a 1080 Ti also. But the 1080 Ti right now is a waste with Plane 11. You don't need a 1080 Ti now. But when you have Vulkan, the 1080 Ti will be utilized. Now, if you're doing Plane 11 with VR, a 1080 Ti is nice to have because you've got, you know, you've got plus I have 2 monitors. It's nice to have that extra speed. But I was actually thinking about taking one of my monitors, the one that I just used for stream information, and putting that on the Intel graphics chip. So I'm not using the cycles of a 1080. I'm thinking about doing that. But I'm wondering if you can transfer from one screen. Hopefully you can just use, you know, basically use it as one big, you know how when you have 2 screens, you can transfer from one screen to the other, like side by side. I'm hoping that you'll still be able to do that. So I want to take that load off of the 1080, especially once the native VR comes in. But I will tell you, like, native VR and Aerosfly SS2 is amazing. Like, if I'm not streaming, I can run it on Ultra, and I think I'm getting like 50, 60 frames per second. It's like amazing. I'm not sure what platform Aerofly is built on, but I'm sure it's not OpenGL because they're taking advantage of that GPU for sure. You say I was using Project Lasso on, okay, more water. That's interesting. That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the 7700K is a great chip for X-Plane if you're building a system just for X-Plane. If you're using VR, you'll probably want a 1080, like I mentioned before, because you've got so much other video going on, and you need that extra power to do that. If you're 2D, then probably a 1070 is the sweet spot for that. You really don't need right now, but when Vulkan comes around, that's going to change. You know? It's pretty simple. Right now, X-Plane's bottleneck. They know it, and they go to Vulkan and they remove the bottleneck. So here's another thing I wanted to talk about. You look in the upper left-hand corner there. That is Flight Plan Go, all right? And what it is, you can see here, look in the lower left of my camera, it's an iPad app. You can't really see it because, I'll just show you here. It's an iPad app that allows you to show your routes and stuff like that. And it has a moving map capability normally, okay? But ever since I upgraded to the beta release, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. The moving map hasn't worked. So I contacted Flight Plan Go, and they said they know about the issue and that they're not going to have it fixed until January. And I'm like, January? Are you kidding me? January? So I was like, okay, well, I got to make a decision here because I really can't go 2 months without having a moving map. So maybe it's time to spend $100 and get ForeFlight. I'm thinking I might do that. And I'm wondering if any of you guys use ForeFlight. What do you think about? I mean, I'm sure. Well, I'd like to know if the integration is better than, you know, freebie flight plan go. Listen, it's a freebie, you know, which is nice. Nice to have the freebie, but for the $100 a month, or sorry, $100 a year with ForeFlight, what am I getting? You know, I think that you know, if I'm getting like flight planning, like I use SkyVector to do my flight planning. So I have to see what kind of value I get for spending that $100, basically. Use little nav map. I looked at little nav map, and I went with Flight Plan Go. And Flight Plan Go has been great until this last beta release, and I don't understand why it's going to take them till January. I mean, it's like a month. It's been broken for, well, since I upgraded to the beta, it's been broken. So that's been 2 weeks, right? Vulkan equals upgrades equals poor. Yeah. You mean it makes you poor? Yeah, when the Vulkan comes in, it's going to pay to have a 1090 with Plane11. That's the way I look at it. Or sorry, 1090. A 1080 Ti. It'll pay to have a 1080 Ti, that's for sure. Is that in 2D though? Right. Okay, that's 14.4. But is that in VR? Yeah, no VR. Okay. All right. And that's with a 770. You said 770K at 5.1 gigahertz and a 1080 Ti. Yeah, when I run X-Plane in 2D in 1080p because I don't have a 14.4 monitor, I get like 65, 70 around there. And I have a 6700. You know, I think the last time I did a benchmark check with 11.05 of Plane11, I did it at Boston with the Mr. X Boston scenery in the C172, stock C172, and I got it. It was averaging at about 48 frames per second, and on full ultra, and then when as I turned towards going out to the ocean, it beefed up to like 65 frames per second, and that's with a 6700, right? So the 77K has got like about a 25 to 30% higher, you know, capability, you know, power. It's like about 25% more powerful. So you know, probably would put it at about 80 frames per second, somewhere around there. But 115 frames per second. Is that like over water? Is that with Ortho? I mean, there's a lot that can be to it. No, I haven't heard any news about the Flight Factory 320. I know everybody's waiting for it. Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy that as my first big iron plane, but I have too much to learn on the GA side. My focus is going to be try to use this to become to get a pilot's license. So I'm going to be, my New Year's resolution is to get more into, you know, understand the aviation part. I bought 2 books. I'm going to start reading that. I'm going to start taking the CAT ratings more seriously, and really start to kind of do what like Uncertified Pilot did. I might stream some of it, but it's more for my own edification. I really want to become more of an aviator and less of a gaming aviator. Right now I feel like I'm like a gaming aviator, to be honest. And I mean, I know like enough to be dangerous kind of thing, but I don't want to know. I want to know enough to be safe. You know, that's the whole idea, because the goal here is to get my pilot's license, right? So let's check out our systems here. Let me just see here. All right, 100 miles to go, 24 minutes. Here's an interesting thing. Look out the window. There's no wing, but if you put your head out the window, there's the wing and the engine. There. It's gone. It's back. The light's there. I'm not sure if that's a VR bug or if that's a Carenado bug. That looks pretty cool down there. Yeah, so when I used to fly this route, it used to be the standard mishmash. And now it looks pretty damn cool. I'm actually going to change the lighting here. Hold on. A little too dark. I want to see a little bit better. I have my PPL, but can't fly because of health. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope that changes for you. I know Donovan's working for his working on his PPL too. But yeah, that's I've never flown a plane. I've got to get to that point. Yeah, I wanted to turn the lights on here so we could see a little bit better. That looks awesome, man. I mean, like I said, even though that's flat scenery, it gives well, it's not flat. It rolls with the hills. But you get a 3D effect even from the trees and the houses and stuff like that, because it's just tricking the eye, you know. Pretty cool. So here's what I was thinking before. God bless the guy who wrote the Ortho 4XP utility. I mean, there's a guy that could have easily charged money for that, especially that it's so popular. Maybe he's planning on doing that sometime, but he could have definitely charged for that. But he didn't. Look at that. Look at that mountain right there. That ridge right there. That looks so freaking cool. Now that line right there that's going through those, that's probably like a power line. They cut the trees for a power line kind of thing. That's what it kind of looks like. That looks awesome, man. Yeah, the scenery does look great. Yeah, squawking. I'm using a Bing, and this is all zoom level 17. But around the airports, within 5 kilometers of the airports, it's 18. So I went a little on the high side because I bought a it looks like a dirt bike track down there. It's pretty cool. Sorry for the tangent. I bought a 6 terabyte WD black drive, and so far I've built out a little over a terabyte worth of Ortho. 180 some odd tiles I've got right now in different areas of North America, the northern hemisphere, I guess. There you can see where there's a switch in tile right there. It goes from brown to green. That's interesting. But like that ridge, that little cutout where you see there where you think it looks like there would be a power line, it looks three-dimensional. Like those trees look like they have height, even though I know that if we went down there, it would look flat. But from up here, it's got dimension, which is really cool. So you don't really need to have the overlay of AutoGen on top of this when you're up this high. Now, when you're lower, it would make a difference. But when you're lower, you have AutoGen at the airports usually, or any airport that's built out. So, because I built this all on, I use the HD mesh as the overlay input. because that's the instructions that I had, not realizing that if you do that, you basically lose all the auto gen, right? But I don't care, it looks fine. And I don't really care if there's cars driving around. I saw one guy on one of the forums saying, what happened to the birds and the deer? I think the birds and the deer are a pain in the ass. You know, you're trying to take off and all of a sudden a herd of deer runs across the runway. I'm glad they got rid of that. Or maybe it would come back if I ran higher autogen. In fact, I could probably, no, I might be able to get away with higher real world objects now. Which would mean around the airport it would be denser. I have to play with that. We'll see. Thank you, Oscar, Simulation Person of the Year. Yeah. Ortho's great because you get familiar scenery areas developers are not working on. Yeah, I mean, it is great. And like I said, I mean, hats off to that dude who wrote that software, because like I said, he could have easily charged a good $1 for that. He really could have. But you put that in place. So this is the thing, like when I first started with VR and X-Plane, I really didn't know what Ortho was, and I had to read about it and learn about it. Now I've got a little bit of experience about it, so I know enough to be dangerous. But I'm here to tell you, and if you're flying in VR, you know what I'm about to say, or you'll agree with what I'm about to say. Ortho makes the difference in VR. 100% makes the difference. When you're looking at this type of scenery from 5,000 feet, 6,000, 7,000 feet, you get the sense that you're in a real frickin' plane. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. When you're up this high and you're looking at standard laminar scenery, you feel like you're in a simulator because it looks synthetic, Like when I was flying out the SR-20 from Pennsylvania through the Midwest, it was all laminar scenery, and it was all the same stuff. Field after field, farm after farm after farm, and it was just duplicate. You could almost after a couple hundred miles, you could start to pick up the patterns, Here, everything is unique. Every contour and color is unique. And that makes a difference, because that's what you really see when you're up in a plane. You see the uniqueness of the terrain. Yeah, you agree, Donovan. It makes a 100% difference, and it basically completes the hand. When when I'm referring to a poker reference, it completes the hand when you have Ortho. When you've got Plane11, and you've got VR, and you've got Ortho, that's like a royal flush. See what kind of frame rates you're getting. 19, okay. As long as you're getting in the 90s in the headset, it's fine with me. I tell you, the one thing I have to figure out, and hasn't been easy, is the Oculus mirror, which is what you're seeing. Like I mentioned before, it only gives you it's like a little above 720p, which means you can't see the detail that I see, because I'm seeing it a little above 1080p in the headset, right? Oculus has to change their mirroring. They have to improve that mirroring to give you better mirror. Now, with Aerofly FS2, it's got a desktop mirror, which is 1080p. So there, you see what I see, which is really amazing. I've had some conversations with the developers at Laminar, the VR developer, Chris, I can't remember his last name. And I asked him about mirroring, and he said it's going to be single eye, which is a bummer, because that means I'm going to still have to use the Oculus mirror, because I don't think people on YouTube and on streams they kind of want to see everything, even though you're not seeing it in 3D. You want to see everything. You don't want to see, one eye is limiting, right? So X-Plane, one thing that native VR, X-Plane native VR is going to be limited on is its mirroring. And the reason was they felt that it would just require too much processing power. And I think that's because they're on OpenGL. Aerofly does it. I run on Ultra, and it's fine. So I think probably the limiting factor for X-Plane for Laminar is OpenGL. It's a shame. So I'm still gonna have to use the mirror. But what can you do? Now the other thing you have to remember is, and no one's really talking about it a lot, is that Daniel Church of FlyInside, he's coming out with a flight simulator. They're working diligently on their own flight simulator. But look, that looks awesome right there. Wow. Sorry. It looks awesome. All right, what do we got here? We got 56 miles to go. Wish I had my moving map. Just want to check something here. $55 to the turn, okay. Yeah, Daniel Church of FlyInside, they're working on a simulator. Haven't named it yet. In fact, they have a naming contest. It's not even out for beta yet. I want to be a beta for it. They're designing a flight sim from the ground up, and it's going to be VR out of the gate. It'll be real interesting to see. Now, what he said was they're now not struggling, but they're working on optimizing the scenery and the whole scenery system. Wow, that looks so cool. Man, we are burning a lot of gas. I think I better pull things back a little bit here. That fuel flow is... Probably don't run at that rate anymore. I mean, we have aux in case we need it, but then I think we have enough to get there. Well, I know we have enough to get there. We only have about 24 more minutes, so we should be fine. But anyway, yeah. So I'm looking forward to see. You've sent me some screenshots. It looks pretty cool, but screenshots are screenshots, right? I'm anxious to see it, and I'm anxious to try it out. I'm hoping that he starts with GA planes. The screenshots that I saw were big iron planes, but it should be interesting. Should be interesting. One thing I didn't realize, there was an article interview with Austin Meyer. Just catch it on a track up on chat here before I... Actually, I'm going to try to put the chat... Let me see if I can put the chat inside the... This doesn't always work. Oh, crap. I just... Oh, that just killed everything in the chat. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can bring that into the screen here so I don't have to keep... sim import window. I think it's this guy here. Yep. Hopefully that one's all right, Donovan, you're gonna fly. Catch you guys later. Catch you later, man. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the FlyInside comes out with. What I was saying was, it's interesting that there was a article on PC Simulator, I think it's called. I got a yellow caution light. with Austin Meyer interview, and I didn't realize that X-Plane has been around for like, I think it's like 20 years. He wrote it like 20 years ago. The first version out of college. He went to Carnegie Mellon, wrote his first version there, then he transferred to some other college. But he wrote a simulator because he was a Microsoft FSX user, Microsoft Simulator user, and it wasn't doing what he wanted to do, so he wrote his own. And it's developed into his business. And I think it's like 20 years it's been around. Which is amazing when you think about it. Yeah, see, when I do this chat, it locks up my screen, so I gotta get rid of that. It locks up my X-Plane screen. So unfortunately, it doesn't work well. Let's see. Wish that Squawk Box they had Squawk Box for a bat sim. I would work in VR, okay. Yeah, when you get distracted by the scenery, you're doing the right thing. It is distracting, which is, I guess, really cool, right? But yeah, I'm hoping to be a beta tester for FlyInsideXP. That would be good. Oh, low fuel quantity. All right, because I'm getting into the yellow, but I should have plenty to get there. But that just tells me I'm going to need 300 gallons. What did I put, 350 in? I'm going to put 400 gallons in on the way back. Because I'm going to have 19 passengers. We'll have a full load on the way back, so. And I'd like to get them there alive. Oh, who just joined? What just happened there? Can't read that. Let me just see. Who was that? One second here. Feather Patrick, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Making sure everything's updating properly. Yeah, it's a bummer that I can't put chat inside VR. It's that for some reason it just doesn't work. Now over that second ridge I think is where I'm going to maybe making my turn. 30 miles. It looks like it's about 30 miles. That's the other thing. I'm starting to be able to kind of judge the distances, which is cool. So now let's check out this airport we're flying into. This is Morgantown, 1866. No, 12. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, 1200. Okay, sorry. 1200. So we're gonna have to come down substantially. There's kind of like a valley here. So once we get over this ridge right here, 3000, then we'll start to descend down into our turn. We'll look at turn. We've got us coming pretty much right into the runway there. Right where we are right now. Any coming back for Flight Sim World? You know, I got to tell you something. I was, I have Flight Sim World, and I was just had a little time to kill. I said, let me check out Flight Sim World. I hadn't tried it in a while. And I loaded it up, and I was trying, and I'm like, after like 3 minutes, I couldn't even use it anymore. I don't know what it is, man. It's just like it's fake to me. It's a game. You know, I know FSW fans are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't say that. It's a game. It doesn't have, I mean, it doesn't have comms, it doesn't have real navigation. It's a game. It's a flight game, is really what it is. Sell it for what it is. And now, it's still in early access, and they're selling DLC. Now, I know they have to make money. And they have improved it a lot. They have definitely improved it a lot since the first release. Okay? And we're moving quick. They have improved it a lot. But, still in early access. And they've got, like, you know, a lot of DLC coming out for it. I know that's their model. But I, for one, would never invest money in that platform. Because for my use, I want to use a flight simulator as a training and learning aid. Also for fun, but for a training and learning aid, okay? If you want to just have fun and do their missions and all that crap, spend your $25, give me your money for the DLCs, whatever, okay? It's not a flight simulator, it's a flight game. You guys can yell at me all you want. That's the way I feel about it. Yeah, it's FSX with beaded rain on the windshield. Remember when it first came out and everybody was oohing and ahhing because it had the rain beaded on the windshield? I was like saying to myself, at first it was really cool, but then I started thinking about it. I'm like, why is that important? And here's the other thing about FSW. I did some graphics testing. I think I put up a video on this. You can check it out. There is no frame rate difference between low and ultra. Low runs on 25 frames per second, and ultra runs at 25 frames per second. I did a test, flying the same route, going from ultra all the way down, and there was like very little difference in frame rate. I know I'm obsessing over frame rate, but I'm going to start to descend here. Actually, I'm a little too fast here. Let's just wait till we get close to this ridge. Isn't that amazing? So, you would think that ultra would be 25, but if you went down to medium, you'd be able to get 40. Nope. It's built on the FSW engine. Why would you? It's kind of like a lazy way to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, give Daniel Church and Fly Inside some kudos. They're developing a system from the ground up, right? I don't know. I just, you know, FSW is, it's kind of like a toy. You know, if you're used to Plane11 or P3D, FSW is like a toy. It's basically like you said, it's FSX with mud flaps, basically what it is. All right, we can start to descend now. We'll get down to around 3,000. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, there was a lot. You know, FSW is. I've seen the arguments on Reddit and the arguments on Facebook, and you know the fanboys of FSW defending the game. It is a game. See what I'm showing you right here is not a game. Plane11 is not a game. It's a flight simulator. There's a difference. You get in this thing, you get in a plane like this, you use GPS to navigate, you get on Pilot Edge, you communicate. You're at a fixed place in space. If you're in multiplayer in Pilot Edge, there's other planes in space. You can see them. You can talk to them. You can talk to the tower. That's a flight simulator. FSW is a game. It's like Aerofly FS2. It's a game. Flight game. You can't talk to anybody. You can't navigate outside of their own thing. It's not a flight simulator. It's a game. Let me change it. It's not an aviation simulator. Plane11 is an aviation simulator. It should actually have a different category for it, right? P3D is an aviation simulator. Alright, that's enough on that because people are going to start to get angry with me. I don't want to get people angry. Fitzpatrick, I wish I could have confidence enough to install Ortho. Just keep watching the videos until I feel it one night. Yeah, it took me a little bit too to get the confidence to do it. It's not as hard as you think. It's not as hard as you think, and once you do it, make a couple of mistakes and figure it out, it'll work. Backfire, I was thinking because blowing their trumpet. Yeah, exactly. They were trumpeting that they have this new next generation flight simulator. Give me a break. What a bunch of bullshit that was. Complete, and I was actually buying into it. I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be awesome. Before you saw anything. And then, when I got it, because I got it, I think I actually got it for free because I had bought the flight school thing, which was a dog, right? And I got FSW as part of that. First time I booted up, I'm like, oh, let's check this thing out. I'm like, what? I can't use the GPS. I can't, come on. All right, we're about to make our turn here, so we should probably concentrate on aviation right now. Let's level off at 3,000 before we make our turn. And here's our turn. We start to slow the plane down. Look at that beautiful river right there. How many times have you seen on Facebook people say, I just came to Plane11 from FSX and oh my god, I can't believe what I was missing. How many times do you see that? That's what I did. I came to Plane11 from FSX. And I was like, I can't believe I was actually, I can't believe what I was missing. How far we got here? 10 miles, all right. I'm going to be able to pick up our runway. There it is, right over there. Good. We got some autogen in the airport. Looks like we do. I want to get to about 1,500 above ground level. AGL. Starting to slow the plane down. 6 miles. Let's definitely get it slowed down. Let's do our gump. So, gas. Got enough. Undercarriage. We're going to put that down in a second. Mixture is in. Prop is in. We got 6 miles. We're on final approach here. Our level is 1,800, we said, right? Just verify. Nope. 1244. All right. 1244, so we got a little ways to come down. But it looks like we're doing okay here. I think I'm going to take it over though. Autopilot is off. Let's get our first notch of flaps in there. Get our gear down. Looking for 2 orange and 2 white. We got about 700 feet to go. Second notch of flaps. That's full flaps right there. Now this I don't like the way they have things on the side of the hill with the Ortho, but it just can't be helped, I think. I haven't really had time to look into it and see if there's a way to fix that. This doesn't bother me that much, you know. All right, we're right in the spot there for speed. Trim it up a little bit. Yeah, we got a tower here, water tower. All right, looks like we're on perfect angle here. Throttle back. Throttle back, throttle back, flare it up. There you go. We'll go all the way to the end here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll exit the active, and we'll taxi down. Flaps up. But I remember I used to struggle with the rudders. Now it's like having another steering wheel. Beautiful. Yeah, it definitely got a little auto gen in this airport. Could have a little bit more, but at least we got the markers. Now, let's stop her right here. Now, there's a way to do this so I don't have to turn this engine off. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
So if I bring the throttle down, as soon as I bring the throttle, the mixture all the way down and the prop all the way down, I can cycle through FSEconomy. Let's see if I can get FSEconomy up here. This way I don't have to restart the car. Okay, bring it down, finish flight, get back up. Hopefully we're still running. Yeah. Nope. I stopped. Yep. All right, we'll figure. I got to restart things. So we'll just go to mixture in. We'll go down here to the. Okay, that's the right engine. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, the right engine is functional. Left engine is not. All right, there we go. Good to go? Good to go. Okay, let's see what we can do in FSEconomy here. Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll check out the... Let's see, FSEconomy. All right, hopefully... All right, we made $5,343 on the first leg. That means that's pretty good. Now we got this second leg right here. We're going to start that guy. Oh, let's make sure we get enough gas. Let's get, that's 169. We say did 350 before. Let's do the same thing. 350. Actually, we'll do 375. Just to be safe. All right, 375. I'm going to start things up here. Okay, we got that loaded, and we should have 19 passengers en route. Good, 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 good. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I'm making them. I'm making them walk to the terminal. That's right. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, guys. Walk to the terminal. Get the hell out of my plane. All right, we got plenty of juice. We got flaps to 1, and everything looking good. What's that warning light there? Auto feather. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. So what's our GPS? Let's make sure we're good on the flight plan. Oh, yeah. Good thing I didn't forget that. Ooh, hold on. I forgot the flight plan. So let's do menu, delete flight plan, and then we're going to go to here, cursor, and we're going to go scroll up to this guy here, and we want that guy. Flight plan, and that's our, well, we can go, let's do this, go to cursor, scroll down, activate leg, and that should be good to go. Beautiful. Okay. This time I'll turn the X-plane window off so you guys can see what the hell's going on. Yeah, get the hell out of my plane. All right, now for the trip back. So we'll fly at 5,000. Let me set my autopilot up to do. So I'm running down now. So I'm going to go to 600 vertical speed, and we want to set this on nav, and we're good to go. Let's get in the air. Making our money. Ooh, it's moving quick. There she is, November 81538. United Oh, look at that light right there. There we go. Ready? Taking off from 3.6. Plenty of juice. Don't overcook the engine, Bambino. Flaps are 1, right? Yep. Okay. And rotate. Airspeed is alive. Gear up. Flaps up. Enjoy the pretty landscape. Now there is a little bit of a ridge we got to get. I remember that we have to get over here to get back on our route. It's a little bit of a different route home, just to see a little bit different scenery. Not much different, but a little different. Right, there we go. We're going to go to 5,000 again, although we probably could fly a little lower, but autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
That's plane command, by the way. Everyone always asks me, what is that you use to talk to the plane? Plane command, $20 add-on, totally worth it in VR. Totally worth it. You can change your comms. Let's see. Set COM 1 to 123.5.
COM1 set to 123.5.
Where is it? Where's COM 1? Set COM 2 to 111.7.
COM2 set to 118.7.
Well, it didn't quite read it right, but that is really nice to have. You could set your squawk. You could set You could set out the altimeter, the altitude. Check out that road right there. It's a real nice thing to have. Yeah, I got fuel. I did get fuel when I loaded up FSEconomy. I went to 375 gallons. I had it. Well, I topped it off 375. Now, I would like to have an evening landing here. Let's try to, let me just change the light a little bit so you can later. I know that's going to cause our views to suffer. We'll start, take about an hour, right? So we'll put it at 4:37. Hopefully by the time we get there, why you guys aren't. What does it have my flight level at? 43, 44, is that right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure that Benny overlay is working. Yeah, so that's the other thing. I always get questions. What is that thing you're using to show the altitude and airspeed? It's called Benny, B-E-N-E overlay. Just search that on Google and you'll find that. We're going to need some lights here. We don't need those. Oh, come on. Lights kill some frames. That's one of the problems. We're at 5,000. That's where we want to be. Check out my... Well, I appreciate everybody joining the stream tonight. Thank you very much. Trying to build up a Twitch channel. If you haven't hit the follow, please hit the follow button. Hit the notification button when you get a notification that I'm streaming. We talk about VR. We talk about X-Plane. We talk about flight simulation. Talk about the New York Yankees. Talk about anything. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm game. Maybe stay away from the politics a little bit. You know, because things can get a little bit heated. That sometimes when you talk about politics. Yes, I don't. I'm going to need my landing lights, but I don't need the taxi lights right now. Moving at a good clip. We'll back it off a little bit. Red Sox? No. White Sox or Red Sox, dude? White Sox or Red Sox? White Sox I can stomach. Don't tell me you're not. Tell me you're a Red Sox fan, and I want to show you something. Red Sox. Okay, dude. Well, check this out. You ready for this? I think you joined after I showed this. Check this out. Ta-da! How do you like that, man? The New York Yankees SR20, baby. It's got all 27. Let me see if I can show you the picture that has the... let's see. Let me go back to this here. You see these numbers here? Those are the 27 World Championships that they've won over the years. Starting in 1923, and the last one they won was 2009. Yeah, Yankees-Red Sox rivalries. Fantastic. No, I won't ban you, dude. I won't ban you. Listen, I think it's a great... I look forward to those games. I look forward to those games every year. I really do. It was kind of... is an NYPD Stankies fan. You know, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do an NYPD livery. That'd be kind of cool. In any event, yeah, I look forward to those games. In fact, it was kind of disappointing at the end of this year that, yeah, Nightbot references will be banned. Red Sox references. It was kind of disappointing that towards the end of the year that the Yankees and Red Sox didn't play more games. It would have been, I think it would have been cool if they played more games at the end of the year. But listen, it's a great franchise, and you know, even though the Yankees kicked their ass this year, it's one game away from the World Series this year, man. One game away. It was tough, but they played really well, the Yankees. It was enjoyable. It's always enjoyable when your team plays deep into the playoffs because then you know that, like I live for baseball is my main sport. In fact, I'm like, no, I used to be into football. I'm not really that into football anymore. I like hockey a little bit, but baseball is my sport. You know, that's my sport. I count the days for spring training. You know, I can't. In fact, you know, while I'm doing that, I'm gonna put my new route here. I count the days for spring training. So we're gonna go. Let's see. Look at the upper left-hand corner, guys. We're gonna go Morganville to UHULU, and we're gonna go to KWWD. Right? Here's our new route right here. Now, Cape May is at basically at sea level, so. And we're going to be landing on runway. I think we're landing on runway 36. No, that's more. Let's see. 10. You love soccer, yeah, playoff baseball is awesome. NASCAR, I'm an F1 fan. I like F1. I absolutely love F1, actually. Grandfather played basketball in Columbus, Ohio back in the day. Wow, that's pretty cool. Buckeye football where you lived. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. He played basketball with Steinbrenner? Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember George was quite an athlete in college. I know that, high school and college. I miss him a lot, man. He was a great owner. He really was. Let's give the outside view here. He was a great owner. Back in the late 40s, right? Yeah. That's pretty impressive. But, yeah, baseball, you know, playoff baseball is, when your team's in it, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's just super, super enjoyable. And like I was saying before, if you go deep, then before you know it, it's spring training. You know, we're only 8 weeks away from spring training, I guess. So, you know, that's not that long, right? 2 months. We're 2 months away from spring training. So I look forward to that, you know. I really do. Oh, look at that. Man, I'm looking at the scenery 2D right now. It even looks nice in 2D. He was a great owner. I mean, a lot of people hated him, rightly so, but, you know, the guy built winning teams. I mean, he was a pain in the ass, and he was, you know, I'm sure very difficult to work for, but he had winning teams. You got to give him that, you know. My father-in-law, rest his soul, he hated George Steinbrenner, and he hated the Yankees because of George. He hated everything about the Yankees because of George Steinbrenner, except Derek Jeter. He liked Derek Jeter, you know, but I don't know. Yeah, I just got into F1 like this year. F1 is awesome, man. I don't know if you ever watched F1. Those guys are amazing drivers. Amazing drivers. Give me 1 second, guys. You know what, man? I heard that AC, is it Assetto Corsa, whatever it is? That's really good in Oculus. And also, Project Cars 2 is supposed to be really good. Now, you can download a free demo. I downloaded the demo of Project Cars 2, and I just tried it out real quickly. It looks incredible. There's an improvement in Project Cars 1, for sure. I would download the demo of Project Cars. I don't know if you did. I don't know if you've tried the demo of Project Cars 2, but I would download that and try it. It's pretty cool. Can you explain FBO and renting gates without having FBO? Not something I've ever done before, because I've never done like commercial traffic. So unfortunately I can't really explain that to you because I don't know enough about it. I'm fairly new to FSEconomy, and I'm kind of learning about those things. The one thing I do know is that you don't want to spend your money on FBOs because I've heard that they're basically a money pit. You don't have an Oculus Rift yet? Yeah. Well, I mean, you might get some Christmas specials. You might get the $349 price again. Well, look at that. It looks awesome. Doesn't that look awesome right there? Look at that. That looks incredible. Oh, squawking. I'm sorry. I read the wrong person. You don't have a headset. Okay. Yeah, you have to. I would look at. You might see some sales right before Christmas. You might. You just might. I know. Oculus is being really aggressive with their headsets. For some reason, Vive hasn't really budged, and I got to tell you, I prefer the Oculus because it's lighter. It's got the built-in headphones. Which makes it a little bit better for flight sims because you don't have to have a separate, set of headphones over your head. Don't bother buying those earbuds. I had them. That's a waste of money. Just go with the over the ear headphones. They're just fine. But also, it's just one cable. Okay, it's a lot easier to set up. You just plug it into your computer. You've got a lot more. You have to set up the sensors and stuff. I don't know. I just found Oculus, and I've set up both. Because I have a friend who has a Vive, and I just found Oculus to be easier to use, easier to set up, and more comfortable, and I think better suited for VR. I really do. Just my humble opinion. You look, there's the cut. You can see the wires right there. You can see the electrical lines. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can see it. That's the cut for the electrical lines. Big farm down there. Now it looks like this photo was taken in the fall. Look at the colors. And then we'll get into a summer photo. That's the one difference. You have the different seasonal photos in Ortho. I'm not sure how the hell to get around that, but you look at those power lines. That's pretty cool. You can see where they go all the way out that way. Sorry, I'm just taking in the scenery, guys. Oh, crap. That's the fly inside dance, I like to call it. Just goes in and out of fly inside. Usually I think when you're changing scenery, because you're right here, we're going to change scenery. Change meshes, we're going from one mesh to the other. As you can see, we go from fall to like a summer color. Looks awesome. Oh, rent a gate at my favorite airport, local airport. It generates jobs between those airports. Otherwise, oh. Well, you explained it to me, man. I didn't understand that. Now I do. I'll have to, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. All right, fuel's looking okay. Yeah, so I think we're going to make about 12 grand here. That's not too great considering, well, maybe a little bit more than that. Considering it was a $20,000 revenue. Costs us a lot of money to operate this plane. That's why I want to buy one myself. I've got 900 grand, only a few hundred grand away. I'm going to buy one myself. And probably may put it in Charlotte. Not sure. You got to find an airport where jobs are generated that have, 19 passengers, And that's doesn't seem to be easy to find in FSEconomy. Because this thing is optimized when you have 15 or more passengers, right? Somewhere around there. You can't be flying 5 passengers around. Or, you could do multiple hops, but, you want to have a full plane all the time, if you can. So I got to find an airport where, those types of jobs are generated. Oh. This plane would be cool with a G1000. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but it would be cool with a G1000. There's that ridge. That ridge looks so cool. Let me see if I can show you the back of the plane here. So, I'll just turn around. Let me open these doors. If I turn around here, I don't want to knock my camera over. But if I turn around here and ooh, shit, I just screwed up my camera. Yeah, screwed up the camera. Hold on a second, guys. Right back turn around here. There's the cabin back there. See the exit lights are on. Looks like there's no passengers, but there's absolutely 19 people back there. There's a DVD player for watching the movie, in-flight movie. A little cabinet for the flight attendants. And that's what it looks like in the back of a B1900D in VR. I mean, you guys are seeing this in 2D, but to me it looks like real chairs, real three-dimensional chairs. Looks pretty damn cool. With your own gauge, you generate the number of passengers. Okay. Full plane should sound like a real air. Yeah, I do sound like a real airline. Yeah, Ghostomers. Because, well, in FSEconomy, right, you want to have, you want to have everybody, you want to have a full plane, right? 15 or better, I think, in this plane is what you want. This is a perfect plane for FSEconomy, though. It really is. Actually, when you're starting in FSEconomy, anybody asks me, I tell them, don't buy any planes. Just use, if you use an Plane11, just use the King Air C90. 12 passengers. You can make a lot of money with that plane. I bought one. I think I bought it for $750, and I sold it for $800. To John Fly bought my, I think I mentioned that before. He bought my King Air C90 today. Because I want to buy one of these. But it's a good plane. The problem is not a lot of people rent it, so it's good though if you want to buy a plane for yourself. If you want to rent the plane, I think this plane is better because people want to rent this plane. You have it at a good place, like in Charlotte or a place like that, you'll make money on it, And when you have it on your own, you can run passengers with it. You don't have to pay all those fees, right? Although it's only $800 an hour, so let's see. I'm going to be renting this for probably 2.5, close to 3 hours, let's say. So it's going to cost me what, $2,000 almost, right? So a little over $2,000. That's $2,000 you would save on a flight like this. Which is a lot. We'll see when we break it down when we end here. All right, sun's starting to go down here. Different perspective on the Ortho. Just about 5 o'clock. We're going to get there about 5:30. I want it to be about 6 o'clock, so I'm going to move the clock ahead a little bit. I'm going to move the clock ahead like a half hour. You own a 172 and a tri-pacer, yeah, with 3 people. Well, I own a SR20 in FSEconomy too, but that's more for my own flying and taking like 3 people. I'm going to do like, tours in Hawaii and stuff like that. It's on its way to Hawaii. There's nothing wrong with that. I owned a 172 at 1.2. Look at that, the sun's coming into the cabin. That's pretty damn cool. Let's see if we can check the sunset out here. Hold on. That's a nice shot right there. Yeah, I owned a 172, sold that. Yeah, Caravan is a good plane too. You know, the thing is, I started to build up more money, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this money? It's just sitting there not doing anything. So I bought a C90, and that made some money. You know, it probably made about $30,000, $40,000 while I owned it. And then I got rid of that because I want to get this. But yeah, I mean, you know, after a while, when you start to accumulate the money, you know, you probably should keep the C172. It's nice to have that. You don't have to rent it. You're not going to get it rented a lot because it's like there's so many C172s in the game or in the economy that, you know, it's like a roll of the dice if someone's going to rent yours. But it's the same with the C90s. There's a lot of them. But if you have one in an area where there's good amount of work, then, you know, it can pay off. It's all about the fun, you know. I tell you though, the people in FSEconomy that are making money are the people that were early on, and they did the FBO grabs, and they built out real estate like in Ksan and Charlotte and you know, some of the bigger airports, Atlanta, and they're making a lot of money on gas and repairs and all that stuff. And those stuff will never get sold because people are just going to own it forever, you know. I don't know have you guys ever, I've been asking and no one ever answers this question whenever I answer it. Have you looked into this thing, SimBuddy? SimBuddy, I think, is a lot like FSEconomy, but it's got more, it's got better web interface, and it's got better like flight tracking and stuff like that. I don't know. Have you guys looked at SimBuddy at all? I'd love to know if you guys have an opinion on it. I want the runway lights lit up when I get to Cape May. I want to see runway lights. Dusk is like the best time of day in FSEconomy, or in Flight Simulator. Just gotta check one thing. I moved it up to 6 p.m. You have not looked at it seriously. I think it is payware, but it's only like it's £5 a month. What is that? $8 a month, something like that. They have a 7-day free trial. I'm gonna check out the free trial, see what that's all about. Doesn't that look cool? All right, we got lights on the runways now. Look down there. I can zoom in over there. I'm gonna let you zoom in forward. Let's see what we got here. We're gonna pass over one right there. Check out the sunset. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Wow, look at that. Whoops. That is pretty. That is pretty. Look at that. Now, what do we got? We got still got 100 miles left, about a half hour. Moving pretty good. We got plenty of gas, so you know what? I'm gonna add a little juice to this thing. Get us there a little faster. Yeah, it looks cool, doesn't it? It really does look cool. It looks cool inside on the instrument panel too, man. Keep kicking my yoke cam. All right. Let's burn some fuel. Now, here's one thing I'm hoping for in native VR. Those of you who have flown in VR know that the lights at night, the street lights and stuff, which I'm not sure if we're going to see them or not because of the ortho. It's interesting. Hopefully we'll see them. We might not. We might not see them, but 'cause I guess I'd probably be starting to see them now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. But anyway, in VR, the lights just look awful. But like especially the dead of night, like in the dark night, they look really, really big and bulby. And I'm not sure how you fix that. Maybe they're working on fixing that in the native version. I'm not sure, but yeah. See, that's got me thinking now with ortho, because of the overlay. I don't think I'm going to have lights because I think I would see ground lighting now. You're going to have it at the airports because the airports are overlaid. Maybe I have to change the way my scenery file is set up. I'll have to experiment with that. There's an airport there. It looks like a pretty big one. Might be BWI. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I won't see lights without the overlays. I got to figure that out. I got to figure out how to do that. Yeah, you know, I would listen. I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of flights, FSEconomy, and there's no donate button. I would like to donate money to these guys that developed this, but I have to say that, I guess it's like a 12 or 15-year-old platform. It looks like a 12 or 15-year-old platform. They need to do something about the GUI. It's got to be, the UI's got to be updated, make it a little bit more, a little bit better searching capabilities, or I should say more intuitive searching capabilities. The searching capabilities are there, but it's just a little bit of a clunky interface, And there's no social aspect aside from the forum. You need to have like that kind of thing, like being able to have like friends and like, I think like SimBuddy has, like, you can have friends and you can have like, you can set up private voice chat and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think they need to beef that up a little bit. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to fix that overlay because I do like having the ground lighting. Otherwise, it looks like a nuclear holocaust without any lights except for the airports. Yeah, I want to say that's BWI right there. Let's see if we pass BWI. No, that's Dulles, baby. That is Dulles. That's Dulles right there. Yeah, so I'll work on that over the weekend. Oh, you can't have, well, I'm not sure. Can you, is there enough passengers to support an A320 or in FS economy? I'm not sure you could find an airport that's going to give you enough passengers to support that type of plane. It's more like a regional, you know, a regional. I think they have a 737 in the game. Oh, that's weird. Now, when I created the Ortho, I used the mesh that I downloaded from that site, was it AL Pilots, whatever it's called. I used that mesh, I overlaid on top of that. Because that's what the instructional video said to do that I was reading. I'm hoping that was a mistake, and I'm hoping there's a way that in the scenery file, I can I put like the, I don't know how to read about it. There are jobs with 120 passengers. Okay. Okay, well that's good. Is it? I guess it's Rosso. Rosso, where would you, if you had a B1900D with 19 passengers, where would you put it in FS economy? My bet is Charlotte. Where I'm wondering where you would put it. See Dulles. Did we pass Dulles already? There's Dulles right down there. Yeah, it looks like Dulles. All right. Yeah, I definitely want to have the ground lighting. So Squawking, how would you? What do I need to do to get the ground lighting? Do I have to change something in the scenery file, config file? Hopefully you guys know, because I gotta figure that out, man. You went back to the simpler build without the HD mesh. So basically, you didn't do any custom overlay when you built the Ortho tile. You didn't use any custom overlay, right? Is that correct? Oh man, I hope I don't have to go back and do all that again. It's like 181 tiles, man. It'll take me forever. So is that what I would have to do? I'd have to go back and build and remove the custom mesh? Oy, you're kidding me. Oh, it sucks. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a test tile. I'll do a test tile. Alright, so basically it depends on what overlay you use. I'm going to do a test tile and see what it looks like, and then I may have to go back. I mean, if you do mostly day flying, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, you know, I'm going to go back and do a test tile. Oh, it sucks. I got to delete a terabyte worth of Ortho. If I want lights and cars and trains, I don't care about the cars and trains so much. But if I want lights, I got to go back and delete a terabyte of Ortho. Damn it. See, that's a lesson learned right there. Shit. Oh, well. Well, I'm going to do a test tile and see. Well, I guess so basically when I'm doing it, I don't use custom overlay. I don't check that box, right? That's basically what I do. Alright, I'll check out Annex Video. I know him. I'll check him out. Okay, I'm going to have to do that then. I want to do it right, you know, and I want to... Because everything I read said use the HD mesh as the overlay. You know, and that's what I did. Not knowing that I would lose the X-Plane Autogen. Right? Because that's basically what you lose. I didn't know that you lose that when you do it that way. Well, thank you. It's good to know. Point the bottom field overlay to the global scenery field. Okay. To your global scenery. All right. Like I said, I'm going to try that with one tile and see what it looks like. I just want to see what it looks like. I guess it would look, you know, pretty damn good. Then I got to delete everything and start over. Yikes. Hey, I just got an email from Twitch. Congratulations. You're invited to be a Twitch affiliate. Whoa, sweet. Your hard work is paying off. I guess I'm going to do that tonight. You did it my way, but it was more complex. Yes, and use the height maps too. Too complex. Yeah, so if I do that, then I can get rid of all that ZZZ mesh, right? I don't need any of that. If I do it the way you did it, I don't need any of that. Well, that's cool. I'm an affiliate. Well, I'm not one yet, but I just got invited to be. Oh, that's a problem because I want to do that. I want to do that. It gets rid of the ZZ mesh, so I can delete all that ZZ mesh, which doesn't really take up much space. I'm gonna have to try the zoom level thing because to me that's kind of important. So that might be a trade-off. So I wonder what happens with affiliate. What does that mean? Does affiliate mean I can now have subscribers? Yeah, I can. Cool. Nice. Pretty cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, next time I do that, I'll be an affiliate. Awesome. That's good news. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, you can get, I'm just reading the email. You can, as an affiliate, you can get stuff. You're not a partner, but an affiliate. Now, I'm wondering as an affiliate if you can set up teams, because if you can, then I'm going to set up the General Aviation Flight Sim Alliance. It'd be cool to have that. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think we might get, it'd be cool to get a few people in it, and then I think that'll help all of us, because, if you're part of that, then someone might click on that and see the other people that are in it, and it would just help us kind of, cross-platform with each other to get, multiple people interested. It'd be cool. So, I'm a team player, man. All right, 35 miles. We're getting there. "35 miles, 7 minutes. We are hauling ass. 262 ground speed. We are hauling major ass. Yeah, definitely missing the lights. All right. Well, at least it's just pressing buttons, but it's just a pain in the ass to have to do 181 tiles again. Eesh. Well, I'm going to do a test and see. But I think we're going to start to descend here. We'll bring her down to 3K. I'm going to pull back on the... Yeah, we're burning a lot of gas, that's for sure. Just going to pull back on the throttle. Slow us down a little bit. Yeah, I need lights for sure. It's interesting, Squawking, because you're right. It is the fun of the hop. The fun of it, that's the difference between Plane11 and other flight sims. It's like Plane. I know it's not. I know you pay for it, so the analogy isn't perfect. But it's almost like an open source kind of platform where you can do what you want to it, right? If you want to have ortho with mesh, you can have ortho with mesh. If you want to have ortho with global scenery, you can have ortho with global scenery. You can do what you want. If you want to have head shaking, you can have head shaking. You don't want to have head shaking, it's got that customization to it, which is really, really, really cool. And that's what I like about it, But you can definitely pick out the airports without the other lights, that's for sure. It makes it really easy to see the airports. The only thing's lit. And it looks like the ships are lit. Yeah, definitely need ground lighting. That's what blew me away the first time I tried Plane11 in VR. I saw a video by Gamer Muscle, guy from the UK. He does a lot of racing, but he had an Plane11 Fly Inside VR video, and that's what convinced me to. I had an HDK2 headset at the time, which was a big mistake. That's what convinced me to sell that and buy a Rift. And then I bought the Rift, and first thing I did was I loaded everything up. I got demos of Plane11, a demo of Fly Inside, and I loaded up a evening, just about this kind of time, dusk, and it just looked so freaking cool. And I was like, I'm all in. I went all in. At the time, I had a 170, a GTX 170. I said, I'm buying a higher grab, buying this, I'm doing that. I went all in. Just looks so cool. Yeah, and it makes it fun. You know, that's the thing. It makes it fun. Makes it fun. I'm going to turn the lights up a little bit here. I'm going to just change the lights a little bit. It doesn't need to be this dark. Otherwise, you can't see anything because there's no lights. That airport looks cool. All right, so I'm gonna have to have that project for the weekend. I'll do a test tile tonight, and in a dense area with a lot of airports. See if I can do the 18 zoom level, and then we'll see what that looks like. Got a lot to rebuild then. Oh, 181 tiles, wow. But I got to think about it because I don't fly a lot at night. I fly mostly 12 noon daylight because I like to see everything. So I got to think about that. I got to think about it. Also, I'm wondering that if you use the HD mesh as the overlay, you don't have the auto gen, which probably helps with frame rates too, I would guess. And frame rates are a concern in VR, right? Getting 19 now. All right, Squawky, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. It was good chatting with you, and thanks for the information. I do appreciate the guidance, and I'll let you know what happens, man. Thanks. I'll be checking out your stream. I got your notifications, so I appreciate you watching, and thanks a lot, man. Take care. All right, guys, so we're pretty close to the end here. I actually can see the airport lights in sight there. We're about 20 miles out. Oh, don't freeze up. Don't freeze up. Oh, no. Oh, no. Come on, go back inside the simulator. Let's go. Come on. Oh, don't freeze up on me. Just won't go back into VR. I'm stuck in the limbo land here. Oh, there we go. Cool. Woo! Oh, that would have sucked if it bombed after 2.5 hours. Oh, that would have sucked. All right, 1700. I think we'll end it there. We'll just keep it right there. Get a little closer, and we'll hand fly it in. Hopefully we'll make about 14 grand, something like that. I think I made 10 last night, or 9 last night, something like that. So that'll be a decent chunk to cover the Hawaii project. And then the next goal in FSEconomy is to buy one of these planes, a B1900D. That's the next goal. All right, here we go, making our turn in. Be on the ground in a few minutes here. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelt and prepare for a landing. We'll be on the ground in a few minutes. Thank you for flying United Express. Flight attendants, prepare for arrival. I guess we're low. We're approaching the low on fuel mark, but we got plenty. Let's just zoom in there and take a look at our runway. There it is, nice and lit up. Short runway, or shorter, I should say. All right, I think it's time. We got the plane. Start to slow her up. Let's do it through our gump. Gas is good. Undercarriage is coming down. Three green. Mixture is in and prop is in, and we are on final approach. Slow the plane down to, let's slow that plane down. Get that first notch of flaps in there. .140 knots. Second notch of flaps. Everything looking A-OK. We're a little high. There's 500. Speed is good. There you go. 2 orange, 2 white. That's what we want. Speed is good. Trim her up. Bring the nose up and throttle back down. And that's a nice landing right there. Beautiful. Well, there's no terminal here, so we'll just go to the exit deactive. And that's that. All right, let's make our money now. Let's shut this baby down. Set parking brake.
Brakes set.
Let's see what we got here, guys. All right, go to the log. Got to do our end flight. Oops. Finish flight. Let's update the log. 8,000. So we made 13.5 total. 13.6. Not bad. Let's just see what it cost us here. So rental is an hour, so $9.93. Fuel costs, ground crew, all that stuff. Okay, distance bonus. And then the second one, $9.93, and then all the fuel costs and all that crap. We get our distance bonus back. We make 8 grand. So 13 grand out of the 20. It's expensive, right? Or yes, 12.7 it says. So we made 12. Oh, no, that's the revenue. So 13.6 is what we're profited. It's not too bad. I'll take it. So one more time, guys, remember VR Aviators group on Facebook. Make sure you check that out and sign up and join. Just answer the 3 simple questions, and we'll get you right in with the other 240 members talking about VR and flight sims. And listen, guys, I do appreciate. I really appreciate you guys hanging out here, watching the stream, and always trying to improve things. So leave your comments in the comments. Hit the like button if you like what you saw. Subscribe to Bambino Games on YouTube. Follow me here on Twitter, and we'll be back with more soon. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great evening.